Once upon a time, in a bright and shining village, lived a kind couple named Chidi and Amaka. They had a warm, loving home, but no children to share their love with. Chidi and Amaka prayed for a child who would fill their home with laughter and joy. The village, bathed in the golden light of the morning sun, was filled with a peaceful silence that made the emptiness in their hearts even more apparent. All around their home were little details set up in anticipation of a child's presence: a small swing, colorful paints, and a shelf full of storybooks. Every morning they would sit by the window, dreaming of a child running through the garden. But this emptiness was not filled with despair. It was filled with hope. Amaka planted new flowers in the garden each day, while Chidi painted the child's room and added little decorations. Their love was not only for each other, but also for the child they hoped would soon join their family. This waiting brought them closer together, laying the foundation for a future woven with patience and love. One day, they decided to visit the orphanage in the village. It was a place filled with children without parents, but hearts full of hope. As Chidi and Amaka walked through the orphanage doors, their eyes immediately fell on a little girl named Ugo. There was a light on Ugo's face, and her eyes sparkled like stars. Amaka approached Ugo with a gentle smile. "Hello, Ugo," she said kindly. "Hello," replied Ugo, her voice as cheerful as a songbird. Chidi and Amaka played with Ugo, laughing together, losing track of time. This meeting felt like magic. Ugo seemed like the missing piece in their lives. After some time, they made a big decision. "Would you like to come live with us in our loving home?" Chidi asked, his voice full of hope. Ugo's eyes lit up with happiness, and she nodded eagerly. "Yes, please," she exclaimed, bouncing with excitement. Chidi and Amaka took Ugo's hand, and together they walked towards a new life filled with love and adventures. On the way back home, Ugo dreamed of her new life with Chidi and Amaka. The trees, fields, and flowers they passed by seemed more vibrant than ever. Chidi promised to show Ugo their favorite places in the village. While Amaka talked about the special meals she would cook for her, Ugo couldn't put into words the excitement of having a family she had always dreamed of. When they arrived home, Amaka showed Ugo her room. It was filled with colorful pillows and cute toys. As Ugo jumped onto the bed and took in the room's scent, she felt like she had finally found where she belonged. Ugo was no longer just a lonely girl in the orphanage. She had become the beloved daughter of a family that chose her with all their hearts. From that day on, their home was never quiet again. It was filled with laughter, songs, and the pitter-patter of little feet. Ugo quickly felt like she had always belonged with Chidi and Amaka. Every morning she woke up to warm hugs and the delicious smell of breakfast. Amaka taught Ugo how to cook, and Chidi showed her how to plant flowers that danced in the sunlight. Ugo's days were filled with learning new things and exploring the world around her. Every night, she fell asleep listening to Amaka's bedtime stories about stars whispering to the moon. One day, Amaka shared exciting news with a glowing face. "Ugo, you're going to be a big sister," she said. Ugo's heart filled with joy. "Really?" she exclaimed, clapping her hands. "Yes, really," Chidi laughed, lifting Ugo into the air. "And not just one sibling, but two." Ugo, from the moment she learned she would be a big sister, was filled with immense excitement. She spent days eagerly awaiting the arrival of her twin siblings, imagining how she would be the best sister ever. Together with Amaka, she sewed tiny clothes for the babies, decorated their room, and prepared stories for them. Every night before bed, she would tell tales to her unborn siblings, praying for their health and happiness. Seeing Ugo's love, Chidi's eyes would fill with tears, realizing how much she had grown into a responsible young girl. Their family was about to grow. and Ugo was at the heart of this loving transformation. A few months later, their home was filled with even more laughter and the soft cries of babies. Amaka and Chidi welcomed twin daughters, Uchi and Abu. The twins had curly hair and laughed like little bells. Ugo immediately loved her new sisters. She helped Amaka fold tiny socks and sang lullabies that made the twins smile. Ugo stepped into a whole new world with the birth of her twin sisters, Uchi and Abu. Every corner of the house overflowed with the joy of the babies, and Ugo eagerly embraced her responsibilities. She woke up early to help Amaka, even learning how to change the babies' diapers. As she told them stories, her voice softened, and singing lullabies brought back memories of her own childhood. Even while working on the farm, her mind was always on her sisters, ensuring their safety and happiness. One day, Chidi took Ugo to the big tree in the farm. "Look, Ugo," he said. "This tree represents our family. Its roots are strong, and its branches reach for the sky. You are one of the strongest branches of this tree." These words warmed Ugo's heart. From that moment, she felt not just like a sister, but a pillar of her family. With each passing day, Ugo's love and dedication grew, becoming an essential part of the home's harmony and happiness. The twins' smiles filled every corner of the house with joy. Ugo taught her sisters how to make funny faces and blow raspberries. At night, the family would snuggle up with the twins between them, listening to Chidi's stories about brave knights and clever princesses. With each passing day, Ugo felt more and more like a part of this wonderful family. Amaka and Chidi always showed Ugo how much they loved her. Ugo loved her little sisters so much that she couldn't remember life without them. The family's happiness grew like the flowers in their garden, blooming brightly under the warm sunlight. With hearts full of love, their days were filled with smiles and sweet memories. But life sometimes brings unexpected surprises. One evening, when the sky was covered with clouds, something very sad happened. Chidi and Amaka were returning from the market when they had a terrible accident. It happened so suddenly that everyone in the village felt a chill that night. The once warm house was now silent, with no bedtime stories or smiles. Chidi and Amaka had joined the stars, leaving Ugo, Uchi, and Abu all alone. The following days were quiet and gray. The sisters clung to each other, trying to understand why their parents weren't coming home. Ugo, being the eldest, tried to be strong for Uchi and Abu. She wiped away their tears and made them porridge. But when she was alone, Ugo would look up at the stars and whisper, "I miss you, Mom and Dad." Though their hearts were heavy, they still had a farm to take care of. The farm was filled with clucking chickens, mooing cows, and vegetable fields that needed tending. Chidi and Amaka had loved their farm, and now it was the only thing the sisters had left of them. As the seasons changed, the farm continued to support the sisters. They sold eggs, milk, and fresh vegetables at the market. People in the village loved their products and often asked, "How are you, little ones?" The sisters would smile and reply, "We're okay, thank you." Managing the farm wasn't easy, but it helped Ugo, Uchi, and Abu feel closer to their parents. Every harvested vegetable and every gathered crop was a reminder of their parents' love and the lessons they had taught them. The farm was not just a place to live, it held their family's heart and hopes. Supporting each other, the sisters slowly found a way to smile again. They knew their parents were watching over them from the stars, proud of their brave, strong girls who kept the farm and their love alive.